thing the Bhagavatam does on a regular basis is says, it's we really, really zoom out. We really, really
Big time
zoom
zoom.
out. Like you said, that's the analogy of a bag of mustard seeds, and our universe is in there. And I'm walking around thinking my life's going through so much hell right now, or I'm going through a
Right.
problem, I'm going through a heartache, I'm going through some loss. When we start to see the universe like that, it takes the fever of anxiety, the fever of fear, the fever of me and my issues, and it minimizes them. And
You
it's
know,
just like walking in a graveyard, and you start to see, oh, I get it. All these people had lives. All these people had love. All these people had loss. And it's important to add this. And sometimes we don't talk about it enough is reflection. Reflection on time, reflection on our significance in a big picture of things and what actually matters in this lifetime. What stuff we're actually going to carry to our next life?
right.
Are we going to carry or do we want to carry our rage, our anxiety, our fear, our resentment? Or do you want to carry like a firm staff of deep spiritual connection that we take on and then we keep with us and that we stay in that type of samadhi? When I hear about people like Tulsi, I'm thinking, this woman's in samadhi. She's actually, even though there's some stuff going on, she's got this deep connection going on, and it's like inspiring.
Awareness of what's beyond, of what's steady.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Alachua, Florida, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show. This is episode 1438. 1438. Good morning, everybody. Having a great time here in this place is the hub of Bhakti in America. Who would think? Northern Florida. But there's devotees everywhere. There are devotees at the bank. There's devotees in the mall. There's devotees on the streets. There's devotees at the
Devotee
food.
judge.
There's a devotee judge,
is
maybe.
Devotee. Yeah.
Had a great dinner last night with Roddy Cage. Looking for a good astrologer? Roddy Cage. This guy is good. DM me if you want his information. But Roddy Cage is such a sharp astrologer, and maybe a photographer. And his family is wonderful. And a lot of our people go to him for astrology because he's just so darn accurate. So impressed with him. And so, excited. Had dinner with his family yesterday. Having a great time reconnecting with my son who's down here going to school, and gave a little jujitsu class to him and all his friends for the last couple of days. Yeah, and I leave Saturday morning for teaching. If you're interested, 2-day, full-day workshops in Daytona Beach. If you're interested, you can DM me.
Okay.
There you go. What's
Now
going
that
on with
we've
you?
done those announcements, why don't we go over to the next set of announcements?
I'm just like, I like to just get to know everybody again, catch up.
Is that how we get to
personal.
know each other?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
tell us what you're doing.
That's how you get to know me.
All right.
Now tell me how I can get to know you.
You can get
How
to
are
know
you?
me.
It's like a little sharing circle. That's what I thought this was.
Okay, all right. Let's check in with
Kastuba.
Mara, see how she's doing. Mara,
You got to say hi. My name is Kastuba.
Good morning. All right, we have Feel Good Friday, Asana with Cult of Cain at 10:30 a.m. for our supporting members.
Is that new? Feel Good Friday? I didn't make that up. Is that?
No, he made it up. It's always been
he
there.
made it up. Okay.
Yeah. Before we started calling him Cult of Cain. But that's with Josh Cain.
Feel Good Friday. Okay.
Yeah. And then tomorrow's Q&A day, and supporting members of our Sage community platform can post their questions under the questions for the host tab in our community chat, and we'll pull questions from there to read and answer on the show tomorrow.
And then we have special guests. We're bringing Dunya on tomorrow.
That's great. People love Dunya.
Yeah.
People love
I love
Dunya.
Dunya. And then Sunday, tune in for our interview with Raghu and special guest Tridaya Chaitanya. And
Oh,
it's going to be all about his journey. And
He's-
his whole life has been pretty fascinating.
It's pretty
Really?
fascinating. I read that bio.
Yeah.
he's
Besides
from
walking
France,
to
right?
India from France, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
besides that, what?
Besides that, he's just had an interesting life. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to give away the entire show.
Okay. I'm just
I'm just
kinda
saying
opened
this
it up
guy's
with the
he's a
sentence
nice
that way.
devotee. He's had an interesting life, and we're going to talk about it. But I'm not telling you now.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a real adventure just to walk from France to India.
Just to walk to the post office is like an interesting adventure. People don't walk anymore. You know, it
Hey,
really changes the pace of things. You know, when I ride my bike, even when I ride my bike to places that I normally drive, I was like, oh, I've never noticed that tree. I've never noticed this house. You just don't notice things. And when you walk, you take in more. And if you think about just in a culture that's created driving to be the normal, think about how much we miss out on life because people didn't go to New Jersey in the old days unless it was like, I'm going to New Jersey. I may see you in a month. It was like that. You know, you'd have to take a boat across the river, you know, and then you'd have to walk to wherever you're going or take a horse. And it was a whole different world.
they had
And
ferries back then. They did.
yeah, that's called a boat.
I
Who
know,
are
but it's
you?
not like it wasn't. It's the kind of thing you could do in the morning and come back in the afternoon or something like that if you wanted to. You have to go beyond New Jersey. You gotta.
Well, it's not like you're hanging out at the dock, Stuba. You'd go to some village. All I'm saying is once you got the automobile going, and there
Yeah.
was a time where it was just sort of like the new thing, the new machine that a few people have, then it became very normal. And then that changed everything. It's like what happened with the internet. Yeah, oh, wow, I can send a person you've got mail. And then it started changing the way we talk to each other. Just like and
Yes.
then you forget about it to the point where new kids growing up nowadays, they're clueless to sending letters, to writing beautiful letters and
Why does it
sealing
always
them
go
with
back
wax.
into? Why does it always go to nostalgia about how you grew up and the trivial things of that time?
My point is things are rapidly changing to Stuba. And I'm
Okay.
talking about the interview on the podcast. He walked.
He walked.
When you walk places, you see things differently. And it takes a
sure.
Sattvic mind to walk. The Jains don't do anything faster than they walk. They won't go on a horse. They won't ride a
All of the Jains?
well, that's what the
Some of
Jains
them.
believe in. And they don't drive.
Like the ones that live in Mumbai, they're not like getting on a train to go to work and stuff like that.
No, they don't. You know, it's actually pretty. Think about it. Think about how many people are dying in horse accidents or car accidents or tractor accidents. They don't have that's wiped off the
You can
Jain
still get
plate.
hit by a tractor.
Yeah, especially if you're walking on the highway, which they do in Mumbai.
Yeah, right.
But anyway,
All right. Now we had something serious that we wanted to read, something important, right?
getting hit by a tractor is serious. But yes, we have Tulsi is on the show, but she wrote us this morning. Tulsi from Lebanon, and she's going through it right now with her and her children. You want to read it, Kostuba?
Oh,
Or
okay.
Mara?
Well, then let me pull it up.
I do all the reading. Mara, you want to
Oh.
read it? Let's let Mara
I can
do
read
something.
it.
Yeah, because you got a woman's voice. Otherwise, I'd have to change my voice to sound like her.
All right. Should I read the whole entire? I'll read it in its entirety.
I think so.
Okay.
There's nothing confidential there, I don't think.
Hare Krishna, dear Linda, and the wisdom of the sages team, Raghu, Kastuba, Mara. Just thought to send a small update. We are scheduled to leave tomorrow for an 8 a.m. flight. The airport's still functioning, even though they're bombing just beside it.
There was a
They're
huge
leaving for
explosion
Canada.
there
They're
Mm.
leaving for Canada.
yesterday.
Last night at midnight, there was a huge explosion in Beirut about 25 minutes away from us. It was so loud and shook the house. Thankfully, the girl stayed sleeping. We are hoping that tomorrow, the early morning, will be calm as we drive there. After the loud explosion at night, my mind was racing and I was checking the news and different WhatsApp groups. There's a channel that has almost instant updates. My mind was going through many turbo scenarios.
Mm.
Then about an hour later, I started thinking of Krishna.
Just 1 second. Let's pause there for a moment, Mara.
Sure.
Just imagine you have to take your family, go to an airport that's like nearly being bombed, like with massive explosions, to try to get out of the country. You can imagine where your mind starts to go, and hard to imagine it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Then about an hour later, I started thinking of Krishna. I almost couldn't believe that it took me almost an hour. It started when I remembered the story of Prabhupada making puris as bombs were falling. But then I
Calcutta.
thought, what's that?
On Calcutta,
Mm,
the story about Prabhupada. Yeah.
yeah. But then I thought, well, at least I finally remembered Krishna, even though it took so long. Next step is to try and start remembering him earlier, and then earlier and earlier, and then finally just always be remembering. I've
Hmm.
expressed many times how grateful I am for the knowledge of Bhakti and how it provides the lenses to see and experience what is happening around. But I'm also appreciating how Bhakti is so much deeper than even that. The story that you mentioned recently on the show comes to mind of King Puranjana. He took birth as a queen and then was lamenting the death of her husband, and then a Brahmana came representing the supersoul. Don't remember the exact words, but the message was the Brahmin was saying, I'm here, I'm your friend, I've been
Don't
with
you
you all
remember
along.
me? Yeah.
Krishna is our friend. He is always with us at every moment, our dear, loving friend. When I started thinking of that last night, it was so comforting. And I thought that's maybe how Prabhupada was able to keep making those puris, because he was always feeling Krishna right there with him. So I just wanted to thank you all for this service again. You're not only giving us knowledge so that we can see with spiritualized vision, but you're also opening our hearts so that we can feel the soothing and sweet presence of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Oh. So we love the family. They're here with us every morning, live on Zoom. And we're praying for their safe arrival in Canada.
Yeah.
Wow. Phew. I can't imagine. And heart goes out. And we love your kids, and we hope you make it to Canada soon and come right to Super Soul Farm, which is not that far.
Yeah, we're saying we have listeners in Lebanon, we have listeners in Israel, we have listeners in Iran, we have listeners in North Carolina, which is all flooded over right now.
Yeah.
But it's, and we're saying, all of them are checking up on each other. They want to hear, are you okay? Are you okay? There's no hate in their hearts. There's no illusion. There's no bodily nationalistic illusion in them. They're seeing through the eyes of Shastra. They're loving each other as souls, and we're just trying to hope everyone's doing well.
It
okay.
gets you right into the spiritual consciousness. I am not of this nation. I am not of this
Yeah. We're all changing
this
places,
family.
trading seats, right? It's like a musical chairs game.
Yeah.
I'm Israeli this life. I may be Lebanese next life, and vice versa. I may be
Yeah.
born man, woman, black, white. We're shifting positions.
Shifting positions, and whatever body you do get, there's pain there, there's loss there, there's gain, there's hope, there's love, there's disaster. And these are like the seasons, for the most part, every living entity goes through these at a different time. And so there are these seasons that are pinching. This is stuff we're supposed to internalize. That being said, when we hear about it from other devotees, we don't just say, hey, dude, you're just going through a change of seasons. Just deal with it. No, our heart goes out because we don't like to see the suffering of other people. So we extend. And there are certain things we can't change. They're out of our hands. And then we just can offer prayers. But when things are going through it for us, that's when we have to really internalize. And that's where we really step up bigger. And we're just witnessing in Tulsi how much she's internalized this philosophy into a practice, into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it changes everything. And that's when we talk about yoga and we throw this word around so cheaply. Yoga. Come to my yoga class. Come to my hot yoga class. Come to my power hour yoga class. Come to my advanced yoga class. This is advanced yoga. This is hot yoga. This is like, it's on. And connection is definitively happening. It's not just like, okay, now I feel peaceful, my endorphins are released, and I can be in Shavasana. No, yoga means when I'm actually connected with source. That's what yoga is. And when you see these people, like Tulsi is writing these things like in God consciousness, even though things are crumbling in her universe right now, she's connected. This is like Draupadi with her hands up in the air saying, oh, Krishna, my life is in your hands. Like it's very, it's horrible and wonderful to witness. what she's
We're
going
hearing
through
from
right now.
from is like Nina Rabinowitz is in Israel. She's going into the shelters there. You know, it's like on both
Right.
sides. We have, you know, spiritually conscious people, you know, dealing with the effects of our own illusion and our own attachments and our own ignorance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Phew.
Okay.
All right. You want to go into the Bhagavatam now?
Yeah.
We got a whole
You know,
new
we do need to
section.
check up. You know, we do need to check up on our North Carolina people. We're hearing from some today. And and we needed to hear from, has Gandharvika Giridhari been on the show past couple days? I think she has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was here yesterday. I know. I
And,
reached out to her yesterday.
okay.
Well, that's right. She's in North Carolina. Duh.
And she's
Yeah.
apparently like right in the middle of an area that got hit really hard.
Oh, God.
Yeah, somehow they said that they made it out actually without damage.
Oh,
And
that's
they, you know, they lost power and internet for a week or something, but it was restored as of yesterday.
okay, good.
So
All right. Let's go, Rugga.
Okay, and I just got information in immediately. Thorsten and Vanessa just had their baby.
What did they
Regular.
say? Oh yeah, that's some
Yeah.
happy news.
All both Thorsten and Vanessa, big part of our community, giving love, giving shout out. That's like it just happened.
This morning, right?
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday.
11
morning,
10
actually.
October yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Little
it was right now.
baby, what's
11:10 a.m. This wonderful sweet soul took birth. Please welcome our
Prema.
daughter Devi Prema.
Oh,
Ooh, great name.
wonderful.
right,
We were with her
congratulations.
just a couple months ago in
Mm.
Tuscany.
Yeah. I'm a little upset. I told them to do it live. I thought we could view it live for our Patreon members.
Timing just didn't work out on that one.
Timing just to hold it out. Hold it out. Okay. Narayanam namaskrityanam chaivanarotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudirayat. Before we cite in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Yeah, why does my ego go right to? I thought they were going to text me when the baby was happening. I got the day after.
They were busy.
I expected like the baby's out. Raghunath. Contact Raghunath.
Okay.
Oh, Lee Gaines.
We started
Lee Gaines and Haley Burton live in Asheville. She's about to give birth, so they're headed to a relative in Charlotte. Oh, wow. Lee Gaines is about to have a baby. Phew.
That's right, because it was in February when we were in Mayapur that he got the word, right?
That's right. Okay. All right, everybody else, put your babies up on the board so we can get to the bottom of this and continue.
Let's make sure all the babies are okay.
Okay, and remember, parents, call me, contact me immediately. You don't have to name them Lil Raghunath, but just let me know.
Okay, we started a new chapter today, Raghunath.
Okay.
We started not even just a new chapter. We start a whole new segment, like a lengthy segment in the Bhagavatam, which is gonna. Let's see how many chapters this is.
The Gajendra story is over.
The Gajendra story is over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 chapters on this subject, Raghunath.
Or you want to explain how Gajendra's over and like now where, like, okay, now what? How does this how has it? What's the Sangam?
Well,
How does
remember
it relate to where we are right now?
At the beginning of the 8th canto, we had Maharaj Pariksit sitting in front of the naked sage, naked teenage sage, Shukadeva Goswami. And he was just, you know, in the past cantos, it's described all that was happening within one manvantara, one period, one very long period of time with one universal ruler. Now, then he started asking, tell me about the other Manvantaras and the other Manus, what happened in those ages. And so then that's where we got to the story of um of Gajendra, which happened in the fourth Manvantara. And now he's going to go into the fifth and sixth Manvantaras.
Mm.
Actually, those are going to be described right now. And then when he's talking about, what happens in Bhagavatam is like, this happened, there was this king, there was this ruler, they had this son, they went on to he married this one, they had these children, this one went on to rule in that way. And then something gets mentioned, and then Maharaj Prigat says, tell me more about that. And then he just that's like opening up a file and he begins to describe. So that's what's going to happen now. That's what happened with Gajendra in the fourth Manvantara. Now he's going to describe really what happens right at the beginning of this chapter is he begins to kind of lay out, it's like laying out the staff, right? In this period of time, this person was the Manu. Here were the different people that were playing the roles of the Devas, which are all different positions on the the universal staff. And here are the people that were the seven, every time period like this has the seven rishis. They play their role. Okay, who were the seven rishis? Who was the avatar that came in that time, and so he's going to lay that out for the fifth and the sixth Manvantaras. And when he mentions the sixth, he mentioned that what happened in that, what the avatar's activity was then, was that they churned the ocean of milk. The asuras and the suras, the demons and the devas, the demons and the demigods. The Lord took birth as Korma, this turtle. It's been really far out stuff. And on the back of the turtle was the mountain Meru, and they churned. They churned the milk ocean. And there's Raghunath, this. There's so many fascinating lessons about life and about the universe come out of this story. And it's going to go on for 8 chapters. But we're kind of at the origin of it now, where we start today.
Okay, exciting. So this is
chapter
text
5 is
chapter
entitled
5. The demigods appeal to the Lord for protection.
Okay. It's not always safe up there in those regions.
There's no safety anywhere. There's no safe if you're a bacteria in my body. It is not safe. If you're in a house, you're not necessarily safe. Anything could happen at any minute in your household. You cut yourself, making breakfast for all the kids. You could cut your hands, right? Someone could break into your house. There's love, there's joy in the house, and there's complete danger in the house. So that's the house. In the city, something horrible, some tragedy could happen in the city, and some joy and wonderful things and local music festival could happen. But it's not necessarily safe every day. You can take that to the state level, to the national level, to the international level. And the Bhagavatam takes it to a celestial level because everything is like a Fibonacci spiral, isn't it, Kastuba? It goes low, 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 right down to your own body and the bodies of this and the cells fighting other cells. And then you take it to, and then you can zoom out. And the world is like a world of concentric circles we live in.
Wow.
Think about that. That's your meditation today.
Geometric way of seeing things.
Well, it's sacred geometry, man.
All right.
Don't neglect it.
All right.
Text 1. This is Sukadeva Goswami speaking, the young teenage naked sage. And he says, O king, I've described to you the pastime of Gajendra Mokshana, right? The Gajendra getting liberated, which is most pious to hear. By hearing such activities of the Lord, one can be freed from all reactions.
Bad karma.
Now, please listen as I describe Raivata Manu. So this is another Manu, one of the progenitors of mankind.
So this is now we're talking about the 5th Manu of the 14 in the day of Brahma. Right?
It gets a little confusing, but again, these are time cycles. In the same way we have the time of a bee, which a honeybee can live for 2 weeks, perhaps, maybe 3 weeks. And in the same way, trees can live for 400 years or 500 years, some trees. We have a body that lives about 100 years at tops, So there's cycles of body types. There's also cycles here of these manus. And they are great. They're beings like us, but greater beings. And it's where we get the English word man from.
Mankind.
They're the fathers of mankind. They're the Manus.
Okay.
The brother of Tamasa. Hey, Thomas. The brother of Tamasa Manu.
Hold it.
Tamasa Manu.
Oh, okay. The brother? Okay. Thank
The
you.
brother of Tamasa Manu was
Yeah.
the fifth Manu,
Okay.
named Raivata. His sons were headed by Arjuna, Bali, and Vindhya. O king, in the millennium of Raivata Manu, the king of heaven was known as Vibhu.
So that's the Indra. We've got the Manu. We've got the Indra, right? All the different posts.
Yeah,
Then there's the sons of Manu. They all have their responsibilities.
right.
Okay.
Among the demigods, there were the Bhutarias.
That must have been like just a team, like
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what that means, but there's a
Yeah.
staff called the Bhutarias that were playing the god of the sun, the different gods and goddesses.
they're all
have
like posts, you would assume. And among the seven brahmanas who occupied the seven planets were Hiranyarama, Vedasira, and Urdhvabahu. From the
so
combination,
those are like the Saptarishis of each age, the seven sages.
interesting. From the combination of Shubra and his wife Vaikuntha, there appeared the supreme personality of Godhead, Vaikuntha, along with the demigods, who were his personal plenary expansions.
Okay, so then there was an avatar of Lord Vishnu that appeared at the time called Vaikuntha.
So this is just like this is how universes begin.
Yeah.
Just to please the goddess of fortune, the supreme personality of Godhead, Vaikuntha, and at her request, created another Vaikuntha planet, which is worshipped by everyone.
Yeah, this is interesting. Prabhupada writes here in the commentary, says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, great commentator and teacher on Bhagavatam, remarks here that this Vaikuntha planet, like Srimad Bhagavatam, appears and is said to be born or created. In other words, it's always there. It wasn't exactly created, but it appeared at that time. But both Srimad Bhagavatam and Vaikuntha eternally exist beyond the material universes, which are enveloped by 8 kinds of coverings. As described in the second canto, Lord Brahma saw Vaikuntha before the creation of the universe. That we talked about that last week or the week before, or something like that. When after Lord Brahma, the first being in the universe, did his meditation, Lord Vishnu appeared to him and he showed him there's the spiritual realm beyond. You're locked in this world now, where there's darkness, where there's suffering, and so on. There's Vaikuntha, the spiritual realm of no anxiety. He showed it to him, but then he also, this Vaikuntha manifested a planet that has the Vaikuntha atmosphere, the eternal place that's free of anxiety. He manifested that in the material realm.
Okay.
Which was obviously a historic thing, so it's being mentioned here. All right.
Although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we're unable to understand them. Yet everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Or we try our best to explain. But
yeah, in other words, how could someone create such a planet? You can't estimate.
We can't even describe like an apple,
Yeah, right. In one sense, it's just as mysterious.
Yeah. The son of Chakshu, known as Chakshusha, was the 6th Manu. So now they're going through universes here. He had many sons.
This is the next age, the 6th. Now we're going through the 6th Manvantara with the new Manu.
Headed by Puru, Purusha, and Sudyumna. During the reign of Chakshusha Manu, the king of heaven was known as Mantradruma. Among the demigods were the Apyas, and among the great sages were Havisman, and Viraka. You know what's interesting about the Bhagavatam? It seems like you should just skip over this stuff. It's like you just say, okay, there's many. The fact that it gives these detailed information, which
Yeah.
if you know anything about writing a story, it's got really nothing to do with the story. It's sort of like a diversion of the story, or you know, it
You
makes you
know,
realize like this stuff might be real. This stuff might all be real.
well, you know what I think? I'm sure great teachers have explained the reasons why these things are there, but I believe one of the most important reasons, and perhaps the most important, is all of that we're reading in all the cantos, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, is preparing us to read the 10th canto,
Mm.
which is the story of Krishna. It's so that we can know who Krishna is, and not just like well, let me not rephrase that, but kind of re-emphasize that. It's to help us know who Krishna is,
Right.
right? So what's being described right now is that we live in one tiny universe that to us we can't estimate the size of, but on a cosmic scale, it's tiny. It's like a little mustard seed in a huge bag of seeds. And within that little seed, there it goes through cycles of time that are extremely long periods of time that we can't really even estimate or understand with our tiny little scale of time. And in each one of those shifts, it's going through shifts, and it's incredibly powerful individuals are taking roles of incredibly huge responsibility for very long periods of time. But it's just cycles that come and go and come and go and come and go. Any one of these people might appear to us to be like, whoa, Indra, he must be God. Look at his powers. He can shoot thunderbolts and blow up mountains and fly around the universe and he's incredible. No, he's tiny. All of the universal rulers, in a sense, all of these incredibly powerfully influential beings, they're just going through cycles of power where they have power, they lose their power, they come up again. We're going to read here about they appear powerful. Now they're really scared and they're going to Lord Brahma to try to help. Where do you go? You go to Lord Vishnu, the steady, being behind it all, that beyond all of this, there's a realm that's beyond time. There's a realm where everybody understands the source, the true ruler, like the Parameshvara, the controller of all the controllers, in a realm of divine love. And so when we're going to understand Krishna, the idea is we're getting all this background information. When we hear about this boy and he's running around the forest and he's playing with his friends and romancing with the girls of the village and being adored by his loving parents, we need to understand who he is in relation to this universe, in relation to the universal rulers in our universe, if we're going to understand who he is. And so all of this is being laid out.
One thing the Bhagavatam does on a regular basis is says, we really, really zoom out. We really, really zoom out. Like he said, that's the analogy of a bag of mustard seeds, and our universe is in there. And I'm walking around thinking my life's going through so much hell right now, or I'm going through a problem. I'm going through a heartache. I'm going through some loss. We start to see the universe like that, it takes the fever of anxiety, the fever of fear, the fever of me and my issues, and it minimizes them. And it's just like walking in a graveyard, and you start to see, oh, I get it. All these people had lives. All these people had love. All these people had loss. And it's important to add this, and sometimes we don't talk about it enough, is reflection on time, reflection on our significance in a big picture of things and what actually matters in this lifetime. What stuff we're actually going to carry to our next life.
Right.
Are we going to carry or do we want to carry our rage, our anxiety, our fear, our resentment? Or do you want to carry like a firm staff of deep spiritual connection that we take on and then we keep with us, and that we stay in that type of samadhi? When I hear about people like Tulsi, I'm thinking, this woman's in samadhi. She's actually even though there's some stuff going on, she's got this deep connection going on, and it's like inspiring.
Awareness of what's beyond, of what's steady.
What is crumbling? And it's hard to believe, in New York City, but New York City can crumble in a moment. In the same way, so many cities in our lifetime we've seen crumble. In the same time, if you look back historically and you see Rome fall, you see Constantinople fall, you see all these things one after another, these things that seem so
Pompeii.
solid of the material world, huh?
Pompeii.
Pompeii.
Does that one fascinate you, Raghunath?
It's
Pompeii.
completely fascinating.
I know it does.
People are like eating breakfast, and then Mount Setuvia, whatever it's called, blows
Vesuvius?
up, and you're like, got the cornflakes still in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But
So-
anyway, this is
yeah,
it's
yeah, and-
important to have that reflection, just so we don't get so caught up in our own mind and my issues. Just like when we go to a 12-step or a circle, having a sharing circle, when you just say, okay, I'm not going to share because my stuff is too serious compared to all these people can't relate to me. But you listen to other people sharing, and you realize, oh, the whole world is going through stuff right now. And that's what's so powerful about a 12-step program is you start to realize it's not about you. It's about the material world is shifting.
Mm.
By the way, I got to give a shout out because Jiva G is doing something Saturday in New Jersey. Write her Bhakti Recovery. Saturday, New Jersey, she's doing a Bhakti Recovery thing at what's the name of that place? I just did my program there, Mara. In Marlton.
You're muted, man.
Balance Planet Yoga.
Balanced Planet Yoga. And she's doing a thing at our Wisdom of Sages retreat. If you're interested at all, Bhakti Recovery, next Friday, not today, next Friday at Super Soul Farm. And especially if you're coming to the retreat already.
All right.
Okay.
Continuing on.
Continuing on. What number are we on? 9?
I think we heard about the great sages, right? During the reign of Chakshusha Manu, the king of heaven, the Indra was known as Mantra Druma.
Just give me a number, please, sir. What text is it?
9.
9. In the sixth Manvantara millennium, Lord Vishnu, the master of the universe, appeared in his partial expansion. He was begotten by Vairaja in the womb of his wife, Deva Sambhuti, and his name was Ajit. By churning the ocean of milk, Ajit produced nectar for the demigods, and in this form of a tortoise, he moved here and there, carrying on his back the great mountain as Mandara.
Okay, so
This is unbelievable, Kostuba. You really believe God came in the form of a tortoise? What kind of crazy religion are you part of?
he can do it. Now this,
I like how you dismiss the whole argument with he can do it. It's
He can do
true.
it.
Why not? How about why not? How about what do you know anyway?
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's so many things in the ocean right now that I don't even know are in the ocean. They're finding weird fish all the time. Like, we don't even know what this thing is. Got to give it a name.
So now this topic, we're okay. We went through 2 Manvantars there, 2
Okay.
long stretches of time, and the different devas, the different manus, the different Indras, the different sons of the manus, and the different avatars that appeared and what the avatars did. We heard about the 5th. Now we're hearing about the 6th, and the last thing he says is, and what the avatar does there is he supports the Mandara mountain on his back while it's being churned by the devas and demigods. And Mars Priya goes, hold it right there.
Hold it. What? What? He did what?
Let me hear about that. I want to know more about that. So that's
Good
text
story.
12.
Imagine the Christians finding out that we worship a turtle god.
We do.
They'd be like, what? How did all the demigods obtain? Okay. The king inquired, oh, great Brahmana, Sukadeva Goswami, why and how did Lord Vishnu churn the ocean of milk? For what reason did he stay in the water as a tortoise and hold up Mandara mountain? How did the demigods obtain the nectar? And what other things were produced from the churning of the ocean? kindly describe all these wonderful activities of the Lord. My heart, which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life, is not yet
Sated.
sated with hearing you describe the glorious activities of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of the devotees. So now we're going to zoom back out to the narrator.
Sage level 1.
O learned Brahmanas assembled here at
Sri Sutta
Namasharanya.
Goswami said, you have to say that.
O
otherwise
learned
you don't know
Brahmanas. I said we zoomed out
But
to
you have
another,
to. But
to the
unless
other
you say who
narrator.
it is, we don't know who's talking. Sutta Goswami's talking.
Sutta Goswami. He's the narrator of the
Sages and
Bhagavatam.
Naimisharanya. We zoomed out one more level.
O learned Brahmanas assembled here at Namasharanya. When Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Dwaipayana, was thus questioned by the king, he congratulated the king and then endeavored to describe further the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is how the Bhagavatam starts, with this Sutta Goswami speaking to a bunch of sages.
Yeah. In the forest.
Okay. Yeah. Text 15 and 16. You can still go to the place, Naimisharanya.
I really want to go there.
I wonder what it's like now. Have you
One of my
heard?
great regrets is that I had the opportunity and I didn't take it.
No regrets, man. No regrets.
I regret it.
No regrets.
All right.
It's my t-shirt. Really? You don't regret anything? Sukadeva Goswami said, when the Asuras with their serpent weapons,
Oh,
interesting, severely attacked the demigods in a fight, many of the demigods fell and lost their lives.
they battle sometimes for control.
Indeed, they cannot be revived. At that time, O king of the king, the demigods had been cursed by Durvas. The three worlds were poverty-stricken, and therefore ritualistic ceremonies could not be performed. The effects of this were very serious. We know that story, Mara, right? This is in the comic books. It was, for some reason, the demigods got real weak here, and then they were fully taken advantage of.
No, the story is told here, I think, in this commentary. Is it here? Yeah, it's here.
Prabhupada goes right to the comic books
I don't know if he went to the comic books.
as a
Probably went to
resource.
the Puranas. It is described that while Durvasa Muni was passing on the road, now Durvasa, he's known as being very powerful and I don't know, sensitive. Is that the right word? He's like,
You know what he did? He's hot-headed, but you know what he did? He gave a garland to
that's.
Indra.
I'm going to read that right now. Right
He gave a garland to Indra, and Indra
Okay, I
then
guess I
put it
won't
on
read
his
it.
elephant, and the elephant threw the garland to the ground. And because of that, he cursed him, and the demigods started to lose all their power. He wasn't
Okay.
doing anything really bad. He just wanted to garland his elephant. Was
Thank
that correct?
you for. Yeah, I mean, I was reading.
All right,
it,
read
but you
it.
just-
Read it.
All
Make
right.
color in the blank spots.
It is described that while Durvasa Muni was passing on the road, he saw Indra on the back of his elephant and was pleased to offer Indra a garland from his own neck. It was like here. It was like a kind thing, a blessing in a sense, right?
Yeah, I think it was a special garland too. It was from something
Mm.
somewhere special.
Indra, however, being too puffed up, right? It happens when you get that high level position and everybody's looking up to you and everybody's praising you. They're singing songs and dancing
For you.
your glories, right?
Right.
So now the sage who's like on a higher level, really, he doesn't have the opulence that he has, but he's got deeper realization and he's actually more powerful. He offers him a garland and he doesn't appreciate it. So being too puffed up, he took the garland and without respect for Durvasa Muni, he placed it on the trunk of his carrier elephant. The elephant, being an animal, could not understand the value of the garland, and thus the elephant threw the garland between its legs and smashed it. Seeing this insulting behavior, Durvasa Muni immediately cursed Indra to be poverty-stricken and bereft of all material opulence. Okay, that's now, again, curse or blessing, right? Curse or blessing.
Yeah. It's a curse, but it'll turn out to be a blessing, of course.
Thus the demigods, afflicted on one side by fighting the demons, and on the other side by the curse of Durvasa Muni, lost all material opulences in the three worlds. Then Prabhupada writes, to be extremely opulent in materialistic advancement is sometimes very risky.
Good karma can ruin your life.
Yeah. The materially opulent person does not care about anyone, and thus he commits offenses to great personalities such as devotees and great saints. This is the way of material opulence. As described by Shukadev Goswami, dhana durmadhanda, too much wealth can make one blind. Right? This happens even to Indra in his heavenly kingdom, and what to speak of others in the material world. When one is materially opulent, he should learn to be sober and well behaved towards Vaishnavas and saintly persons, otherwise he will fall down. Now, you know what would make an interesting essay or like thesis or something, Raghunath?
What?
Some of the new Sanskrit and could go back to these original texts. How is Indra portrayed in the Vedas compared to how he's portrayed in the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Very interesting.
Yeah, in the Vedas, he's the king of the heavens. He's the goal. Like his position is what everybody's aiming for. This is, the ultimate materially opulent person, through great piety, through great being very dutiful for lifetimes.
Right.
You could accrue such good karma that you could rise to the position of Indra, the king of the heavens. It's just like, it's so rare and it's just so special. And so the Vedas are glorifying him. Look what you could be if you were more pious. Look what you could be if you were more focused on expressing gratitude to the Devas through your rituals, if you were more charitable, etc., etc., if you're more dutiful and so on. You could rise to the position of the great Indra. And he's just, prayers are there glorifying him in the four Vedas. And the four Vedas are just like the first step, towards moving towards your spiritual evolution. Instead of being a blind materialist, be a very pious materialist. And now they're going to glorify Indra. But Bhagavatam wants us to understand that those teachings, you've gone past them. You shouldn't hang on to them. You should let them go, the Vedas. Now we've come to divine love. In divine love, you don't want the things of this world. Divine love only happens when the heart is entirely pure of material desires. And so now Indra his role isn't seen as the goal. And when we hear about Indra in Bhagavatam, he's usually being humiliated. He's usually in fear. He's usually confused. He's usually
right.
done some huge mistake and is suffering because of it, and is being embarrassed because of it and humiliated because of it. Whether it's with we read earlier about how he was just so materialistic that he killed his own priest because he was fearful, and how that led to, and Vritrasura, who was born in the demon side, is actually glorified. Now the demon is glorified because the demon knows Bhakti, right? He becomes, of course, in the 10th canto, he becomes completely envious of Krishna's role, and then he becomes humbled by Krishna. Here again, we're reading, we read earlier how he didn't show respect to Brihaspati, back in the 3rd canto, and suffered so much because of that. Now we're hearing about him doing it again. Whenever we're hearing Indra being portrayed in Bhagavatam, the message that Vyas wants to convey now, where he used Vyas to lift less evolved people to an idea of being pious, in materially pious. In Bhagavatam, Vyas frames out those parts of Indra's life that reveal him as lacking bhakti, and even the highest materialist is being embarrassed because he doesn't have this depth of realization. So therefore, why should we ever endeavor for material opulence? We should let go of all those. They won't satisfy us. It will still live in fear. We'll still be embarrassed. We'll still suffer in so many ways. Let go of all your material ambition and aim for pure divine love, nothing else.
Alrighty.
I think we're done.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll come back to Indra on Monday. Oh, no, not on Monday. You're not going to be here on Monday, right?
Are you?
Let's see.
Raga's going to be here Monday, right?
I thought Monday.
Oh, no, Monday I'm driving. Yeah. Monday not here. Sunday here. Saturday not here.
But I'll be here Saturday with Tanya.
You and Dunya are gonna
Yeah.
take my place.
All right.
It's okay. I'm replaceable. I know that. I don't think I'm the center.
Maybe a little.
Hey, I got to make an announcement before we do these takeaways.
How many announcements do you
Our
make?
friends from Ben and Esther's, they there was a little film that was made on some channel.
Like a news coverage kind of thing?
No. It was like a series. It's called. I just put it on the board. The V word.
Vegan.
The V word episode. It's a whole it's like an
Series of
online
vegan
platform
happenings.
all about sort of like bettering the world, bettering the earth, bettering the environment and stuff like that. So they have some vegan episodes, and they featured our friend Govardhan from Ben and Esther's,
Great.
the vegan Jewish deli. And so yeah, I just put a link on the board. Maybe we could put it in the show notes.
Sure.
It's waterbear.com. But
Okay.
okay. Mara, what are some takeaways of today? What are something I can take with me?
There's no safety in this material world.
Yeah, it's true.
No.
Keep awareness. What is beyond? What is steady as God?
Fibonacci right there, Raghunath.
Yeah, remember that.
It's all preparation to know who Krishna is.
That's why we're hearing about all this.
We live in a tiny mustard seed size universe.
Yeah, a huge bag of mustard seed, like one of those
Huge
big,
bag
huge
of
burlap
mustard
bags.
seeds. One day you're going to be one of the Manus, Kostuba.
I don't think so. I hope.
And
not.
you might get proud. Like, look at me in my universe. It's nothing.
Okay. All
It's
right.
nothing, man. Big deal. You're in a bag of them.
Pauper is proud of his penny.
Yeah.
Zoom out to minimize the fever of fear and anxiety.
Like even in this lifetime, suppose I have a little business with 5 employees and I'm the head of it. I think I'm so important. Like, what do these decisions have to be made? I'm like a tiny little king in a tiny little universe, in a tiny little, right? It's just like the ego's still there with that self-importance. Huh. Okay.
Too much wealth can make one blind.
It sure can.
Too much wealth. Yeah.
Carry a firm staff of spiritual connection.
Okay.
Yep.
Purify our desires for divine love.
Purify the desires for divine love.
Yeah.
Even the highest materialist is embarrassed without connection.
So many times.
Embarrassing.
Over and
Embarrassing moments. Our whole life is like a fail video, isn't it?
I mean, the most embarrassing moment for Indra still hasn't even come up yet.
Govardhan Hill?
No. When his whole body becomes afflicted, it's like...
Oh, we don't even want to talk about that. Is that in the Bhagavatam or something?
Yeah.
And...
Yeah.
Does it go into the details?
We're gonna like, can I be
Can I
be
not
driving
tell
that day?
story? Can you get a guest for that one?
And why not? What do we know anyway?
Why not?
Why not? What do we know anyway? Thanks everybody for joining us. Check out the B word, right?
E word? Or
Yeah,
B
on the
word?
water bear like the animal, waterbear.com. Yeah, it's the story about Ben and Esther's. Very cool. Looking for an astrologer, check out Roddy Cage. Yeah. DM me if you want that info. His wife made Chinese yesterday. Blew our mind. And then made a peach pie.
I tell you, I miss real Chinese food. I don't think I've had it since like I was like 20 years old. Like,
Let's go to Chinatown.
I don't do that.
Don't do that. Just do it. Just do it, man. Ever heard that slogan? Just do it.
Just give up your determination for purity and what you eat.
Nah, it's just like, you know what? There's many paths to God, Kostuba. Just
Well,
have
just
some
why not
Chinese
let me
food
be on
with
my
me.
path?
Because you want Chinese food.
Yeah, but I don't want it that much. That's the point.
You don't want it that much?
Mara, have you done Chinese?
Not so
Let's get
much.
Mara
no.
to do it.
I can do it.
You haven't done it much? Have you done it at all?
Yeah, like a handful of times over the years. But
What do they
no
spice their food with, Mara?
I mean, it's like India where it's got like different regions of stuff. Like,
Yeah. I
you
guess
know,
that
it's
was
like we lump it all together, like the same way we do with
like
Indian
we
food
say
or
Native
Indian stuff.
Americans. They're all different, man. There's different nations. There's different Chinese kingdoms.
What about like lo mein? Then like a big eggless egg roll, and some vegan wonton soup, and fortune cookies. Can you put that together, man?
I
And
haven't
fried
done
rice.
fortune cookies. Fortune cookies is the one part of that I haven't done, but the rest of it I could do.
At the Bhakti Center, we were thinking of going out on the streets and like have fortune cookies with little like spiritual instructions.
Ooh,
Okay,
I
I've got a message. That's a very good idea, Kostuba. Fortune cookies with spiritual instructions. Where do you get your spiritual instructions from? Cookies. Exclusively cookies.
It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it's truth, it's truth.
Okay.
Everybody's saying the fortune
Bhakti
cookies are
Recovery
good to know.
is having meetings in Philly at 1 to 3 p.m. BRG at the Philly Temple. All right.
On
good to
Sunday,
know.
right?
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep.
And our show is 8 a.m. tomorrow, but on Sunday when you're doing the interview, Raga, that's at 7 a.m., right?
What's that?
This Sunday is at 7 a.m.
Oh, this
Yes.
Sunday's at 7. You guys gonna be there? Are you guys showing up at 7? Give me a hands up. Wave to me if you're gonna be there at 7 on Sunday. Ave Maria was like, maybe. Shrivas is like, I abstain. Rajasundari Radha said nothing. I
Aruna is
abstain.
I'm there.
It's like the abstains habit.